What is up, guys? It's Andrew with MyWatchAddiction.com, and today we're going to take a look at a Breitling Colt reference number A17380. So if you guys saw that previous unboxing of this Breitling Colt, the worst unboxing video ever, you'll know that I recently got in a Breitling Colt, and that's what we're going to take a look at today. We're going to dive around a little bit. I'm going to show you how much it's going for, how much I paid for it, as well as some things to watch out for when you're buying a more expensive watch from a third party or a secondary source. Anyway, guys, let's take a look and see what's on my wrist today. The watch of the day for me is that Aragon Anti-Gravity Silver. This guy doesn't get a whole lot of wrist time just due to the height and dome on that crystal, but it is still something that I love keeping in my collection just due to the differences behind it and the look behind it. All right, so if we jump into this Breitling Colt a little bit more, luckily I know for a fact this time the watch is actually in the watch roll. So one real quick thing, if you saw my unboxing, that I do have to point out, this is not a certificate of authenticity like I mentioned in the video. This is actually the chronometer certification, that was given for this watch. So just a quick correction on my unboxing. As many of you know, when I get excited and I unbox things quickly, I tend to make lots and lots and lots of mistakes. This Breitling Colt automatic, reference number A17380, is actually powered by a Breitling caliber 17 movement, which, if I remember correctly, is a modified Swiss ETA 2824-2 movement. Could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what this movement is based off of. It gives you 42-hour power reserve and bi-directional watch winding. So you can wind the watch in either direction and you're still charging that main spring. The bracelet on this watch is classified as their professional 2 bracelet. It is 20 millimeters across, with the case on this having a 41.1 millimeter diameter and a 12.4 millimeter case thickness. This Breitling Colt automatic, reference number A17380, was in production from 2006 to 2011 with Breitling. Now, interestingly enough, one thing I did learn, which I have not actually had the chance to do, mainly because I don't want to scratch it, but at the 6 o'clock position on the bracelet, you can actually pull the bracelet off, and if you look on the case underneath the lug or in between the lugs there, it'll actually give you a manufacturing date code. It'll give you a 4-digit code, which will tell you the week and the year that this specific watch was manufactured. Now, I personally don't trust myself enough to take this bracelet off as of yet, so I'm gonna not worry about that one too much. One thing I will point out, when I purchased this watch, I did purchase this watch in an auction, and luckily enough, I lucked out on this one, and I have relatively small wrists, but this watch did not come with all of the links that originally came with this watch from the factory. So I lucked out in the fact that this watch actually fit my wrist, but that's just one thing to point out. If you are bidding on a watch or purchasing a watch aftermarket, make sure that you ask the seller if it's the full kit, just so you know what you're getting into. If I had larger wrists, I probably would have been disappointed when I purchased this watch, because the links for this Breitling Colt and this professional 2 bracelet can range anywhere from $40 to $75 depending on where you purchase them from. So these links aren't cheap. So just make sure you know what you're getting into when you purchase purchase a watch for sure. The other thing is, when I actually sized this bracelet, this is probably one of the trickiest bracelets I have sized, because there's actually, because of that angle in that bracelet, there's actually 2 pins for each link that you have to unscrew. And it's almost like a horseshoe type shape to it. So that took a little bit of learning when I was trying to size this guy the first time. One thing that I really do like about this watch is that dial. If you look at that dial itself, in addition to the applied stainless steel indices, you can almost see a circular pattern around the outer edge of that dial, which I think is pretty sharp. We'll just walk around this watch real quick. Again, this was a used watch that I purchased via auction. And you can see there is a little bit of desk rash on the clasp, but it's really not anything that's horrible. Given the age of this watch is, for all intents and purposes, over 5 to 8 years old. This watch has been extremely well taken care of, in my estimation. And you know, those slight scratches on the clasp or on the bracelet itself, a lot of that can be polished out. So I'm overall extremely pleased with this purchase. If we want to talk about the value on this Breitling Colt automatic, I took a run over to Chrono24. Chrono24.com is, if you're not familiar with it, is a private and professional selling website. Basically, you can go on the site and you can take a look at people selling their watches, new and used, from all over the world. So I jumped in here and I ran a search for the Breitling A17380, and this is what I came up with. So you can see right here on this screen, pretty much a good portion of these Breitling Colt automatics are going for over $2,000, or I should say are for sale for over $2,000. As I mentioned, I did not pay nearly what you guys would expect for this watch, but that gives you an idea of the running selling price of these Breitling Colt automatics on Chrono24. Now, if we jump over to eBay real quick, eBay currently has some of these Breitling Colts available. People are selling them anywhere from $1,650 on up to that $2,000, $2,200 range that we were talking about. If we take a look at the sold listings for this Breitling Colt automatic, you're seeing that these watches are selling on eBay secondhand anywhere from $1,350 on up. And you know, you see, actually, you do, one thing I will point out is you do see a lot of these Breitling Colt automatics that are on a strap versus the bracelet. You can usually pick them up a little bit cheaper. Now, I've seen a lot of these Colt automatics both with the navy blue dial as well as the black dial versus the white dial that I have. And quite honestly, I love all of them. I think they're black dialed. Colt is extremely sharp as well. And if I had a preference, I would probably have the black dial over the white dial. However, I just came across this deal and I just couldn't pass it up. Now, as I mentioned, I won this in an auction on one of the Facebook watch groups. And this Breitling Colt I picked up for about $1,300 shipped. So it's right around that hairy edge of what they would sell for at a lower price. And I'm completely okay with that because I know that this is a watch that I am going to get a lot of wear out of if I keep. And I also know that I have a few pending offers right now on this watch in the $1,500, $1,600 range. So I'm really going to have to make a decision for myself on which direction I go with this watch. However, it is a watch that I'm extremely happy that I got in this price range. So that was the Breitling Colt that I received. Really, really, really liking this watch. One thing I do have to say is if the diameter was any smaller on this, I probably would not like it as much as I do. But this 41 millimeter is a really good size for me, and I'm just loving this watch. The one thing I do have to say though is after I purchased this watch, a couple of friends and a bunch of other people that saw me purchase this watch, a lot of people have been coming out of the woodwork trying to get this one. So realistically speaking, I am not sure how long this Breitling Colt will stay in my collection, but have no fear, I have another Breitling that has come in and we will take a look at in the not too distant future with you. Anyway, guys, thank you for sticking around. I'll post up, as always, some still pictures of this watch at the end, as well as some loom shots. If you guys want to follow us in the future, down there in the right-hand corner of the screen is that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that guy. If you have any questions, definitely post them up in the comments, or you can always reach out to me at mywatchaddiction.com. And don't forget, you can see what's on my wrist on a daily basis by following us on Instagram /watchaddiction.us. Thank you guys, and have a great week.